after-school program committee meeting started. It's a little after 4, so we have the agenda here, and I don't know if we need to introduce ourselves. I'm Tanya Garner.
Jonah Sizemore.
Chris Coon.
Beth Yinch.
All right, we have a couple that aren't able to be here with us. So on the agenda, we've got, we're gonna talk about the structure of the program, our 5-year projection, and grant search. So, I wanted to go, I've been running some numbers and looking at data for, the first 2 months of the after-school hold on.
Both of these.
Let's get that one.
Oh.
There you go. And so
Thank
this
you.
is for August and September. And then I also have, these are the numbers that are registered, to stay for the after-school program. So we'll look at the numbers of the ones that are registered to stay at the program first.
Now, parents, can they have a child stay that day if they pay, say they're not registered for the full program, but they want to stay for the Fridays?
So unless they tell us ahead of time, we don't have like drop-in.
Okay.
They have to be registered, and they have to we don't let them send money on Friday and say, hey, they need to stay on Friday, because we're having to plan for staffing and our numbers.
Okay.
So they do have to pre-register and prepay, yes.
I believe that was one of the things we talked about last year was, to have some kind of continuity with the, knowing how many students were going to be there from day to day.
Right, because it would be very hard to plan if they could just drop in anytime. So some schools, we really liked for parents to send money in on Thursday just because of tracking and getting that money to the bank and stuff. So some schools really set that deadline and stick to it, and some are a little more lenient. So I feel like we're working well with the parents, and really I have not had any complaints from parents. So that's a good thing. I know we're still just about 2 months in, but so far so good. But if you look at the numbers and the ones that are registered, Deerfield has always been our lowest enrollment, even when it was a free program. But these numbers are higher than I projected. So I think that has a lot to do with that we're only charging $5 a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's these numbers. I've talked to Miss Leanne Eaton, Leanne Chastain. She's the site director at Deerfield. And she's always talked about transportation. It's really hard for a lot of kids to stay out there just because they don't have the transportation to get back home if they're not riding the bus. So I think that's why our Deerfield numbers have always been low.
Yeah.
But do y'all have any questions about the numbers for the ones that are enrolled?
I noticed the numbers are higher at New Union and North Coffee. Is that where we have that pilot programs for tutoring?
Our tutor numbers are not in here.
Okay.
Yeah, these
Okay.
are just for our paying kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes,
Um,
those are the schools that have the tutoring, but those students aren't within that number.
Okay.
But these have always been our largest schools. Really, it's always been Hillsborough, New Union, and North Coffee that have always had higher attendance than anywhere else. And if you'll look, those 3 schools actually have middle school students too, several middle school students, which I thought was a little surprising. I thought, yeah, we'll have it open, but I didn't think a lot of middle school kids would actually stay continuously. So those 3 schools, we have several middle schoolers, not the other ones though.
How is that working out with the older kids?
Oh yeah, I've got more.
I guess they're just one grade up and they just left the elementary, so that's,
Well, and that may not be right as far as some of those numbers may be 7th and 8th grade too. I just didn't, on my spreadsheet, I didn't have that in there. But really my site directors, if they're in there, they're just gauging like their maturity level, and if they need to be in there, you know, with the teacher working on homework, they'll do that. Sometimes they have them helping them do stuff. So I've not had any complaints about that either. And I've been very clear with the site directors. If these kids are coming and they're not behaving, then we're not going to let them continue to come to our program. And we have not had any problems that I've been aware of.
I would say some of them are because they've got younger siblings
Yes.
that's in the program, and it just helps mom and dad out all
Yeah,
around.
they only have to make one stop to pick up kids, so, yeah, I think you're right. Let me give you this too.
If they can be beneficial and help the teachers and the aides, you know, if they don't need any help
Right.
themselves, I mean,
Yeah, like some will
That's
even,
great.
after the snack time, they'll help clean up from snack time. And I think that's good, you know, put them to
Absolutely.
work and,
Yeah.
so they do a little of that, but it has not been a problem.
good. That's good to hear.
Well, if you don't have any questions about that, we'll go ahead and this sheet right here, there's just a lot of numbers. I know it's a little crazy, but I like to try to keep everything on one sheet. It helps me to keep up with stuff. So, if you'll look at this, up at the very top, I have each school, and then I break it up by the number that they had stay that day. And I have this top row, it goes on through December, but y'all didn't need to see that, so I just cut it off right there. But that's how I keep up with it. And then at the bottom, it just gives me a total. Then I run formulas for each month so I can get their average daily attendance. And that's what you will see on the second set of numbers down here. So like if you look at Deerfield for the month of August, they had a daily average attendance of about 10 kids. And then you can just look on down. East Coffee had a daily average of about 15, then 19.
Now,
But
they're,
that's-
they're still paying to
Yes,
stay in the program.
$5 a day.
So there's 24 of them and only average of 10.
Right.
Hmm.
But, and that's an average. So on some days you may have, you know, like 20 of them there. I mean, that's just the average.
Okay.
And depending on how the days fall in the month, you know, you can have 20 days in a month. You could have 24 days that you're averaging it out from.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I also highlighted, I've been keeping track because whenever the program first started at East Coffee, when Mr. Shores was actually there, they started the program and they did it on Fridays. And they talked how Fridays was a very low attendance day. And so that's what that, like, August the 8th and all the way across, I kind of have it highlighted just so I can kind of keep track. And it is lower than any other day, but it's still, like, I think probably 76 is the lowest I've had throughout the last 2 months. So, you know, I've got some Fridays where there's 90. I've had a couple hundred and something days. So I really think that it's still beneficial to have Fridays. I'm glad that we chose to go with the 5 days a week because I know it's a lower attendance, but I still think it's beneficial.
Still more than half,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's still helping out
Still
some kids
benefiting
and
most of
parents.
them.
Yeah.
the majority.
So I think it's good that y'all chose to go that direction because I think it's helped out parents.
And we could have always said, nobody's coming, we're gonna discontinue Fridays.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I really think that it helped that we started that first full week that students come back. You know, with the excellence program, whenever we were getting that funding, there were so many requirements that everybody had to have, like CPR certification and all these trainings and stuff, and then just hiring the staff because we were able to have more staff. We needed that good month to get everything ready to go. But this time, I mean, we didn't have all of those, like, things that we had to do. So we started that first full week of school, and I also think that benefited the parents and
Oh, I'm sure.
students.
So can we add a whole list of rules to make this a little more like you're used to and a little harder?
Well, I mean,
I mean, we can do that.
yeah.
Like, no. No.
Days are already pretty long.
I'm
So
sure.
let me just ask this. You're talking about like when it was under the grant, there were
Yes.
administrative,
Yes, from
things.
the state, because those
So-
were federal dollars, so they
Yeah.
said everybody has to be CPR
did they
certified.
provide the funding for that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it didn't come out of,
No, we got lots of, so I think the last year that we got it, it was like 400 and something thousand a year.
yeah.
And so I would budget that first month for everybody to get 12 hours of professional development, and that covered their training.
Right.
And that come through their grant. No, it didn't
So
cost
we
us
weren't out
anything.
anything
No,
under that.
no. But like if we did want to go that route, yeah, that cost money.
Right.
Time.
Not being under the
Yeah.
grant. Now, this year, we can apply for it again, right?
Well,
This
I'm
year?
not, it should be in 2026, but the way things are going, I'm not holding my breath. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
a
I
federal
know.
grant. So
I know.
it wouldn't surprise me
Yeah.
one bit if it was not
I
open.
was gonna say, nobody might.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why, even if the government wasn't shut down right now, I don't want to just hang everything on that like, oh, this is going
Oh,
to happen.
Oh, yeah,
I don't,
definitely
like,
not.
I
in
mean,
my
when they
heart, I
cut-
don't feel like
yeah,
we'll probably
when
get
they
it.
cut us out before, we weren't shut down, and
Right.
these issues weren't there. So.
Right. So,
Let me,
yes, please.
for the past probably 10 to 12 years, that when we've had it at East Coffee, it was a regular occurrence that Mr. St. John was over at that time, and also Ms. Gibson, and they would send us emails, please send this to your legislators, please send this to Washington DC, because they're looking at cutting the funding. And that's been going on for about 12 years.
That long.
So,
Oh, yeah.
just be understanding.
With every federal
And that was
dollar.
at that time with that administration, even, through
Yeah.
those times.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, yes, that grant, it may come out, it may not. So, last year when we did apply, I think that for the application, maybe at the end of January, and they said it would open like the beginning of February, and then you had to submit it at the end of April or something. And then, I don't know if y'all remember, but then they let us know like the
Yes.
last week of July.
Literally like the
yeah.
day before school
So,
started.
so even if it does open and we apply and we're like, oh man, this is a solid grant, I
would bank
not,
on
yes,
no.
don't- yeah, we just pretend
And if
like we
that
hadn't
hap-
even applied and just move on with business like we
Right.
would if we didn't have it. And then if we got it, it'd be like we're doing
Yeah.
cartwheels.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the good thing is if we earmark the money for it and we get the grant,
Yep.
we can always rescind that money and use it for something else if we, you
Or
know,
push it out ahead.
or push it out ahead, you know, well, this is gonna be for the next time that we don't get the grant.
Right.
So, you know, it's, you know, the
I wanna
grant's
make-
great, but, I mean, the grants are great, but, you know,
Can't
we,
count on 'em.
yeah, we need to
Yeah.
look at how we can maintain this without the grants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some grants are extremely expensive to write, and I'm gonna tell you, this one is one of those.
Yeah.
And if my suggestion is, if Ms. Gardner's asked to do this, I don't know if she even wants to write it again, but if she does, we need, it's probably gonna have to be after school that she gets this, or starts working on it. Do you think you can write it during the school hours?
No, I mean,
So,
definitely not.
If that's the case, y'all, she's not getting compensated for anything over, I guess it could be done by the hourly type thing still, like you're doing now, but we need to keep that in mind, because I don't think she could actually, because I remember,
It
back
isn't a
under
lot.
Miss Lynch and Miss Gibson and, all the different ones that wrote it, it was like, oh my, it was hours and hours on hours. And it's a big undertaking.
They definitely make you work for it.
Yeah.
It's not just something you
And
go
then to
in
be
there
turned down.
and type a few sentences.
Right. Oh, I've heard.
No, it's nothing
I've
like
heard
that.
what it's like. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to write it.
Yeah, it's not fun. And then not to get it after you spit on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then get raked
That-
over the coals.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
So, if you'll look down here, so this is just some And y'all, these are my numbers that I keep up with because I do the payroll and the timesheets and everything. And so, I mean, are these numbers to the penny? Probably not. No, Miss Melson, she has dollar amounts to the penny. I think hers are a little, like a month behind mine. I keep up with mine in actual time. So these are not to the penny. Just realize that. But if you'll look down here in the third set, I've just got it again, broke up, and this is for August. You'll see what the monthly average attendance was, and then I put what the August payroll was. So that's payroll for your site directors, your teachers, and your teacher assistants. And so you have the total of that. And then I put in the revenue. So that's the money that we're getting for those students, the $5 a day. In August, it would have been a little more because they had to pay a $15 registration fee on top of that. So you'll see that revenue will be a little higher in August than anywhere else. So I just figured, we've got the August payroll, we've got what we've brought in. Those two differences would be what it's going to cost the district.
Okay.
And so I believe that the district put in $122,000 this year. Well, it was about, and I said that our revenue would probably be about 90. So as far as I'm concerned, if we went in and did some projections, I mean, I feel like we're on track where I wouldn't need any more money to continue doing what we're doing with the after-school program right now. If there are any changes that the board would like to make, then we would need more funding. And so I went ahead and I just added, just so you could kind of see how the program is running right now, I put the number of teachers that we have at each school and kind of like the total number of hours. So it's not that two teachers are getting 8 hours apiece. It's we have two teachers and collectively they're getting 8 hours a week. So what
So
these teachers are,
That's like 4 apiece.
right,
yeah.
an hour a day. And if you think about two, that's K through 5. We're combining
K
grades.
through 3 and,
Yeah.
or K through, how do you do it? How do you divide
About
that?
K through.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Really, whatever the numbers look like, we
Yeah.
may move it around.
Right, where
But-
the need is.
Yeah, where the need is. So, and then the same with teaching assistants. I put the total number that we have and then how many hours that they're getting collectively. And you'll see on Deerfield, we've just been, our teacher hours are not as high as the others, but our assistants are. And we have to work with what we got. So we're working on doing a little different things there. But the rest of it, you can just see how we're doing. And so what the teachers are doing whenever they're with their students, they're working on that homework, and if they're missing any other academic work, they're trying to help them work through that. And the assistants, if there's kids that don't have homework, for that first academic hour, they're doing something academic with them, whether it's playing some academic games or something. And then somewhere, if we only have, a couple teachers, sometimes we will rotate them through the classes where they're spending, sometime each week with kids. But that's how the program is set up right now.
I noticed on Deerfield and Hickerson on the very bottom, there's not any revenue listed for these two schools, and all the costs went into the district. What?
And that's just because I hadn't got their check yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's some get it up here like right when they get the month closed out. Those two schools, they just hadn't got it closed out, and I hadn't got them yet.
Okay.
But yeah, that will go down. Once I put that number in there, once I get it, it'll go down. I just didn't know what it was yet.
So you might have already explained this, and maybe I missed it, but why is the district cost like double for September?
Just because, like, one thing she mentioned, I hadn't got
Oh,
the
you haven't got-
revenues
right,
yet for
right.
2 of those schools.
Okay.
And then also, the revenues are not going to be as high as August because we didn't charge that $15 again.
That's right.
So it's still gonna be a
Yeah.
little
Don't
lower.
have the sign-up fee.
Yeah,
But in essence, it's a 50-50 program. It's costing the district about 50% of it, and they're paying for about 50% of it.
I mean, that sounds
Roughly.
about right, yeah.
You know,
Because I think I figured it out to where like if parents paid $11, it could fund itself.
right.
So that's about right. I mean, we may be paying a little more than 50.
But yeah, but I mean, just
Yeah.
ballpark. I mean, looking at it, because if you, just kind of looking at August numbers, and you include Deerfield and Hickerson, it's going to be roughly, the district cost should be roughly half of what's on here
Yeah.
now. So I mean, in essence, we're going to be looking at about 50 split.
Yeah.
Give
So
or
the
take a little
district
bit.
cost is, it's not just cost, it's what it costs us.
It's what I'm not bringing in from
Yeah.
the parents.
Right.
Y'all are
So,
picking up.
Yes, so
That's coming
that
out of the
makes
one
sense.
hundred and twenty-two thousand.
Yeah.
I thought, when I read it, I thought that it just cost us more to run it. But that's because you're subtracting are you subtracting the revenue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
What do you see in the program that would take it to the next level if you had a little more funding?
Well, I mean, so, and I asked the site directors, what are some things, and like I talked about, like with Deerfield, I mean, if we had transportation, if we had funding to offer some transportation, you're gonna get more students there that could benefit. Even if we're just talking about the excellence after-school program, not talking about the small focused tutoring, it benefits them coming to the after-school program. A lot of the kids that would benefit from it. So even if they're in there for that hour, working with the teacher, or even with a teacher assistant to work on their homework, and if they're struggling with some, just that extra time, and then getting that snack, and then getting just some extra time to be in a safe environment, that's beneficial. So, I mean, definitely whenever if you could offer transportation, but we've been saying that for a long time, but that's a hard thing to even think about doing.
Yeah.
That's a,
I don't know how.
yeah, it's a
Would be
big
nice,
thing.
but really-
And always, I mean, with more staff, more teachers, I mean, smaller groups, because, yeah, sometimes these groups may not be huge for a teacher, but if you got a teacher that's got kindergarten through third, it's like, how do you really do a little small focus tutoring session with Kate? I mean, you're the
It's almost-
expert in,
Yeah,
and,
it's
I mean,
almost
that would,
impossible.
yeah. So,
What would it cost? I'm just thinking, just brainstorming. What would it cost to put one more teacher in each site
about $8,000 per site.
per month?
No, for a year.
That's all.
Yeah. One teacher cost me about, I want to say, and right off the top of my head, I don't have it. Oh, but maybe I do. Hold on.
I think those
For-
are just right at $50,000.
That's
Yeah,
1
because
hour.
we have 1 hour,
An
we have
additional
6
teacher for 1
schools.
hour.
Yeah. So that was for 1 hour, but that was just for 140. And so, yeah, about $8,000
Which is
per
yeah, about 50.
school for one more teacher
And that's per month or
for a year.
per year? So
Yeah.
where does the 50,000 come in, Kelvin?
The six.
8,000 times 6 schools.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
per school,
Yes.
8,000,
Yeah.
okay. And what kind of difference would that make?
Well,
In your
it-
opinion, what kind of difference would that make in helping the kids in that hour when they're getting the homework help?
So whenever I think about, whenever I think about academic and students, anytime you can make that classroom smaller and you've got less students with one teacher, you're going to have better success. I mean, that alone, is that accurate,
Yeah.
Jonah?
And I'm just looking at like how they are distributed across the grade levels, and so there's some grade levels that have a lot more students. So I mean, you could have just one teacher that was just focused on second grade instead of it being a K2 group that's much larger.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so we just had to kind of look at the need and the number of students to determine that.
And that could be something that, I mean, if we said, okay, one more teacher per site, then we look at our numbers like, okay, where would that be the most beneficial in each school? And really like, okay, so this is exactly what you're going to do. This is the grade all the time, no matter what. You really focus on this grade. I mean, definitely that would be beneficial.
That would be 6 more teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, one at each school, if
Yeah.
if that was the,
So things have really changed for this program this year.
oh,
A
yeah.
lot. Not only are you having to take up money, but the program is just different. Do you get any complaints from parents at
I've-
all, or
It seems like I got more complaints for the last 5 years,
when
and
it was free?
yeah, I don't know if people are just not, I mean, our biggest concern was like, oh gosh, it's gonna be just awful taking money. I'm not even hearing a lot of complaints from the site directors.
I was worried about that.
No, it's, and we've got awesome site directors who really stay on it, and, really, knock on wood, tomorrow y'all are probably gonna jinx everything, and I'll just get a million.
Blame it on
phone
the
Blame it on
numbers.
me.
Be like, I'm gonna give you Holly's
No,
phone
you
number.
won't. You won't. You won't.
I asked for it.
But-
there are several less students.
Yeah,
There are,
there's
yeah.
you
So
have
we've
fewer-
lost-
you
we've
have
lost.
fewer-
The pool shrunk,
I'm sure.
the complaints.
Right.
Well, and with
Yeah.
behaviors too, it seems like for the last 5 years, like I was dealing with lots of behavior, like the site directors and letting me, but I made it clear to them, and I think they've made it clear to their families, we don't have the staff to be able to deal with a lot of behavior issues where in the past, maybe we give them more chances. We just don't have the staff to do that.
And if they've got to pay for it,
Yeah,
some of that, I guess, works itself,
yeah.
unfortunately, but.
So I think that the benefits of, we started when school started, we're going on Fridays, it's helping the people that need it the most as far as like the working parents.
Right.
And I don't guess they're gonna, and it's $5. What can
Right.
you get for $5?
Yeah, nothing.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that may be why we're not here.
And you may have had a lot of kids that really didn't maybe have working parents, but just left them there for another hour or so because it was free.
Oh, yes, we
And
did.
then that was was your problem. Kids. Not stereotyping, just
Yeah,
saying.
but I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
I did that with my kid. I didn't have to.
Right.
Sometimes
If you knew it was
I didn't have to
available.
leave, but I'm like, on a Friday, if I wanted to go hit up the grocery store, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, stay at Excellence.
So how do you feel about how things are going?
I mean, I feel good about it. Like I said, I'm not getting complaints. I've got good site directors. When you've got good site directors who have good staff that are doing well, I mean, then, you know, it's good news till you hear, no news is good news, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
If my phone's not ringing, then,
That's a good thing.
yeah, it's a good
Mhm.
thing.
Well, if you got good people, everything runs smooth.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Good, trustworthy people.
Right.
We do. Well, this is good. This is great info.
Yeah, and it's really whenever I did the just projections of what I thought would stay. I mean, it's not too far off. I guess I was more surprised about the Fridays. I'm glad that they are being utilized, but yeah, so far so good. So Miss Beth, what are what are some other questions? What are some ways that you think that we could improve it?
Honestly, I think if we can manage to get some more teachers in there, I think that's one of the biggest benefits, would be getting more teachers in. I'd love to, what kind of programs do you have happening, the extended part where they're not working with the teacher?
Yeah, so we have, well, they have lots of games and stuff, and some will have people come in and like Alan Burnett with the anti-drug, or it's not called that anymore. It's the Coffee County Collaboration Coalition. Like he's going to go into the after-school programs and do Lambie, and that's about drug addiction. So really, we've stuck with the same outline that the 21st century required. And it's like we try to hit some of those, whether it be STEM activities, just arts, music, just fun things like that, whatever the kids like to do. But they try to keep it structured so it's just not like crazy, because they see when it's not structured, and then that's when you see your behavior. So they do things, arts and crafts, just around Halloween now they're going to be painting pumpkins. And I know on Fridays, because we don't have that academic hour, Fridays are more fun days, so they may watch an appropriate movie or something when it's pretty, before it's going to start getting dark so early. Then I know they like to spend a lot of time outside, and I'm good with that. I'm like, let them get outside while they can, because it won't be like that for long. So they're just different activities.
If you were able, and this is just brainstorming, if you were able to get some of your teachers to stay the additional hour during their fun time and their extended time after tutoring, could you at that point set aside some of the kids that need the most help and continue to work with them for that additional hour? Or are
So
they
you
just
mean
too,
like 2 hours after?
yeah, are they just too exhausted at that point?
I doubt that they would. That would be rough
You'd almost
for
have
the
to
teacher.
get another.
Yeah.
I feel like getting them back roped in for an hour is,
Is a lot.
I never wanted to do homework when I got home from school.
Yeah.
I rejected that idea. I was mentally done,
Yeah.
just me, so they would have had a hard time
Yeah.
getting me to lock back in for an hour of academic.
I think that. And what do you think?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think that especially the teachers, I mean, they're staying that extra hour, and
Right.
a lot of them have families too, and so I don't think that you would have a lot of them that would want to stay that additional hour later. Yeah.
I think maybe where we'll see our benefits is in our pilot program, when we see how that comes out, but taking the students who need it the most
Because
and
I think
getting
that's
that more
maybe
individual.
where the difference is, because I bet a lot of these students that are staying here, they may not even be the ones that need the most help.
Right, right.
You know, they're just more of their parents need childcare after school.
Right.
Which I'm
Right.
sure there are definitely kids in this that are staying that can benefit from tutoring and that extra help, but probably not as much as the ones that are coming to tutoring that have been identified by the staff and.
So how is that working out, that these kids who might not necessarily, are you getting, when you identify a child and said we wanted to put them in a specialized tutoring program, the parents have to come and pick them up. Are you
Yes.
getting a good amount that are willing to do that?
Yes, so I know at New Union, she has 10 students, and all of them are getting picked up, so none of them are staying for excellence.
Okay.
And then at North Coffee, it's been a little bit more difficult to have that transportation, so right now they have 6, and those
Okay.
parents are picking them up, and they're not, none of the ones who are coming to tutoring are staying for excellence. And that was an option that was presented to the parents, is they can stay and you can pay for excellence after tutoring's done, or you can pick them up, and all of them have been picking them up at 415.
when I know, if you want to talk, like Hickerson had just sent
Oh,
out
yes.
some letters. If you want to talk.
Yep, so Hickerson, one was interested in starting some tutoring at their school, so they are starting Monday with 10 third graders and going to start the pilot tutoring as well at Hickerson.
Okay.
Um, So we have a teacher and an assistant there that's going to start that at
Now,
Henderson.
does the finances for that come out of the excellence program, or is that
Well,
other, is that
April,
funding
yeah,
that's
April
needed?
has cost centered that differently, and I'm not sure where she's pulling it from. I'm assuming general.
She's a magician.
Yes, she is, and so
Filmed it somewhere.
yes, so she
She-
just wanted. I think that for her purposes, she wanted to kind of track what we were spending for that to see.
Separately.
Yeah, separately from excellence.
They'll be coming and asking for money for that program because, you know, what we had budgeted, it's, if we just do this through the end of the year, it's going to take everything that we had
Okay.
budgeted. So anything over, then, like anything extra with the tutoring, it would have to be more funding from the board.
And so that may be where those extra teachers come in.
Yeah,
That
is in
would
that
make the
spot instead of
difference.
with
Yeah,
excellence.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
And-
up the number of students that you're tutoring.
Yes,
you
if
know,
we can,
you
if we
could do-
have the interest, and yes,
And I'm sure we'll be talking more about this at the innovation grant, but this is just some rough numbers that I kind of did for the small group focused tutoring. Something that it could possibly look like. If you'll look at the top three schools, these are the ones that we'll have in place, that Ms. Sizemore will have in place before, you know, January. So the total for those three pilot programs, your cost could look at about like 24,000. Probably not that much, because like at North Coffee right now, we don't have a teacher assistant, so I don't think it would be all of 24,000. But if you wanted to go ahead and try to add 3 more schools by the end of the year, then I mean, you could look at, you know, just doubling that 24, and not even really, it'd just be a fourth, because it'd just be half of a year. So maybe like 30,000 a year.
yeah, I'm looking at just for September, for the 2 teachers and the 1 teacher assistant that are doing the tutoring, it was $1,090 is what we paid out in September. They were asking where that was coming from. It's not coming from excellence. Or,
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about that. I really believe if we can pinpoint those students that need it the most and give them some focus, that's where we're going to see the most return.
Yeah, I think
I
so
agree.
too.
So, you know, to me, that's one I'm willing to go to bat for.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the right teacher in there that
Yeah.
knows the students that, and they have that small group, I think you'll see movement.
And just like we've been very intentional about the students that we're asking to stay, we've been very intentional about the teachers and the teachers' assistants that we're asking to work with the students, because we want it to be very structured and very intentional with what they're doing.
'Cause my heart goes out to those kids who get kind of lost from the first, you know, and if we can, it changes their lives if you can manage to catch them and get them caught back up again. They won't go through 12 years of, you know, so it's a big deal.
Well, it changes their whole culture.
Yeah,
I mean, in essence, it'll change their whole culture for the future.
right.
And it changes maybe their perception of school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if they're struggling in school, they might have this negative idea about school, but that after-school tutoring, if that can give them that extra bump, it may change their mindset about what they're able to do.
Right.
If they don't feel successful, they're not gonna enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And success looks different for every kid.
All right, so we kind of already talked about the grant search. I mean, I think we have so many sets of eyes looking at grants as they come through from all of our avenues. I know all the supervisors and stuff, we get grants from, you know, the states and stuff. Like Charlie, he had found one earlier today talking about, so I think we're always searching for grants, and I think what we do a lot, which is very beneficial, is the partnerships that we make. I know, like with Coordinated School Health, like I partner with Volunteer Behavior Health in Centerstone, and through them, I partner and I get them to do some heavy lifting, writing some grants and stuff, and then we benefit
Really?
from that. So I can see, us maybe something like that coming down. But I just don't want us to just all have our minds focused on this 21st century grant and thinking like, okay, this time next year we're going to be good and we can count on that, because I don't think we can count on that. But I think we just continue to look and try to think of ideas of ways that we can help fund it, whether it be a little or, the whole thing.
You guys may know more about this, I know you know more about this than I do, but the Sportsman Businesses Club, would any of their, grants be able to help us at all?
So we get lots
They're very
of,
generous.
we get, and each of our schools apply, most of
Yes.
our schools apply for things from them. I think the max that you can ask for is $5,000. And they have to be like for the students. Like you can't get money to pay for staff from Sportsman, but like I know we've gotten lots of PE equipment, music
Yeah,
equipment.
I know, like, Janice Talley, the math coach, she does one each year to do an after-school parent night for math, and she does
Yeah.
that, so that can be used for that, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's
that they
kind of
do.
like more supplemental versus
Right.
like I'm gonna, fund to staff a program.
Yeah.
And I think that as a district, we're very good about utilizing that one because they are
Yeah.
so good to
Yes,
us.
they are.
They're so good to the whole county.
Yeah, I
Um,
think this year they said it was $40,000 worth of grants for all three school systems that
That's good.
they approved.
Yeah, they are very good. And there's others that we utilize. I know Carrie Davis with FRC. She gets grants from around here all the time. So we get lots of grants. Not all of them's as big as those $400,000 and $500,000 federal grants, but sometimes it's better.
Every dollar
You know?
helps, you
Better on
know?
the end.
Yeah.
But sometimes them smaller grants are better because they don't have all the red tape.
That's
attached to
right.
them.
Have all the
Right, yes.
paperwork and the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other information I could share? I try to keep up with data and.
I think you've done an excellent job with, with,
Too.
with everything, keeping up with it, breaking it down, breaking it out, I
It's
think all that
impressive.
looks,
Yeah. that's what
all
I
that
got.
looks good.
Well, that's just me in my office doing it. What's impressive is our site directors, our bookkeepers at each schools, because this has put extra work on them too, where maybe they only had to go to the bank once a week. Now maybe they're having to go 3 times a week, and it's just more work on them. So them, the site directors and the teachers, that's who's doing the work. So I appreciate them, and I appreciate the extra funding from the board, because $5 is so much better than $11 whenever you start looking at 2 and 3 kids,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so,
Well, we're always looking for ways to help the families out,
Yeah.
just like the free lunches and
yes.
anything we can do to help support the families. So,
Well, it's appreciated. All right.
No complaints.
Well, yeah.
just
Ollie.
Well, on there, you got 5-year projection. What kind of, I got an idea of what 5-year projection. I kind of say the program growing each year, but
Yeah.
is that kind of what you're thinking is?
Well, and I'm not thinking anything. I didn't put that on there. I didn't know who did, so I figured whoever put that on there had ideas.
no,
It wasn't me.
So I'm just rolling with it. I work at the mercy of the board and the director of schools. So.
no, I don't think we put that on there. I don't think we can see that far ahead.
Yeah, I'm done working on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Exactly.
Living on a prayer.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like I said, it just kind of.
yeah. I think after this year, after we have a full year of
Yeah.
seeing how much we paid for the tutoring and then how much we paid for after school, we can
Yeah.
probably have a better idea of what that will look like moving forward.
Yeah,
The only way to know is to just do it.
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
I think at the end of the year with, this program, we talk to the parents, be like, okay, so what worked well? What could we do to improve? And then we listen to them, listen to the community, and we just try to.
Listen to our
improve it.
teachers and
Yeah.
how we could help them
Yeah.
more.
For sure.
So, do you have plenty of funds for the extra activities?
Well, and so I budgeted, I think the big schools got 600 and the small ones got 3. We hadn't spent one dime. I may have spent, East Coffee needed something, maybe 100 or something, very little. But we have funding in there. We really stocked up during 21st century because that was a lot of money. So I think we'll probably have enough construction paper for the next few years.
For the next 5 years,
Yeah.
5-year projection, no
Yeah,
construction
we don't
paper.
need any crayons or construction papers. But, no, right now, we're good. So we'll see how that goes, but I think that we're good. They may want to do a few programs. Last year, in the last few years, we've actually paid, like, the science guy would come in and do stuff. So I think, we'd rather spend the money on stuff like that than a bunch of supplies that we're just gonna put in a closet. So I think, that's probably what we'll be doing.
And don't forget, we've got the innovation program coming up, so you can always apply. for
Yeah,
the innovation
definitely.
program.
Hey, and yeah, if one of my site directors has this
Exactly.
grand idea, I'll be like, let's apply
Let's
for
apply.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, do the site directors communicate with each other? I mean, if they got,
yeah, we're in a group.
okay.
Yes.
If, hey, I thought about doing this and,
I think
we
they're
started
pretty
it
good at
this week and it's really working out. So, I mean, they all
Oh, yeah, we're all good.
share ideas and,
Yeah, and a few years
Good.
ago, we started this spreadsheet with like, everybody will put, oh, like I had, the milk guy come out. I mean, yeah, so we share all that just to the 4-H people. Yeah, we have sheets like that and they talk. Yeah,
good.
yeah, we got a good group.
So what do you guys need from us? What can we do for you?
More money?
Yeah.
I'm not
That's a
even,
given.
I'm not asking for more money.
Not
No.
yet.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
we're still getting into it.
If you do find along the way, we want this program to be successful.
Mhm.
So if you find along the way that, like coming up, with the tutoring, let us know. Don't just sit on it
Yeah.
going, oh, we wish we could do this, but we don't have the money for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, I'm all about somebody coming up with some good ideas, and I definitely feel comfortable enough to come to y'all and be like,
Mm.
hey, this is something someone's recommended, can we try it?
Well, at the end of the day, we're all sitting here and it's all about turning out the best students that we can, giving them every opportunity, every advantage that we can, to make them productive members of society, in their adulthood. So, and it starts young,
It does, very
so
young.
anything we can do, just let us
And
let us
make
know.
Making it easier on our teachers in the process,
Yeah.
too.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
For sure. Well, we appreciate y'all, and.
Well, we
like,
appreciate
We appreciate
you all.
y'all.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Very much. It's a lot.
Oh.
It's good. All right, well, I'm going to adjourn this meeting, since I'm the
All right.
chairman.
You can do it.
Good job. Yeah, I mean,